Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I could not be more happy than to have my I would say compatriot in the love of baseball, among other things, Marshall Moore, who is the former director of the Utah Film Commission, now the public relations director, I believe is the right title, for the Park City Film Studios.
Yeah, that title's kind of swirling around, but that's a good one. I like that one.
If you don't like it, I'll take it.
No, I'm in.
It's totally okay. I'll take it. But I had an opportunity to go out and see this facility, which is just, for those of you visiting, if you were heading from our studios over by the Yarrow and just took the road out of town and headed towards Eccles and just kept going, not very far down the road, you would run into a very large facility. You'd wonder, wow, what is this massive place on my right?
Well,
and it would be the Park City Film Studios.
One of the things that I love to do, and I've only done it a couple times, but driving by, I don't say anything about the site, and inevitably people in the car will ask me, what's going on over there? What's being built? You know, it's just a natural question to ask, and then I'm able to. Yeah, it's that big. I mean, it's you know, it fits right in, but at the same time, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
So it really and then I'm able to explain to them what it's all about.
Wow. Well, it's. Like I said, it is a landmark-sized building here in Park City. There's no doubt of that. I think you might be able to, I know you can see it from satellites. You might be able to see it from space, especially once it gets all finished with all the ancillary buildings and support network that's going with this. Talk about the size and scale of this whole project.
Sure. Well, there's nothing else like it in Utah. I think the last structure that could be comparable to that was when the Osmonds built a studio down in the Orem area to house the Donnie and Marie show.
That's right. But this is a lot bigger. 100,000 square feet. Is that what it said? Just that one part.
The whole complex will be over about 134,000 square feet.
Oh my!
The first phase is 3 stages that are 15,000 square feet each, like 150 by 100, 35 foot to the grid. So these are legitimate purpose-built sound stages to accommodate large productions. 35 feet to the grid.
35 feet to the grid.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah.
You can film a nice big cityscape in something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of other things too. But you know what's great about it is there's clear span. There's no pillars, and see that's what the production companies have to deal with now when they come to Utah is they are working out of warehouses, and now this is finally a purpose-built sound stage just for production. Yeah,
I was in a film, a Russian film that was in a warehouse out in the west side of Utah, and like you said, they had to build around the pillars and the things that were already in this building, and a much lower roof, and I imagine it gets kind of difficult. You can't do the shots that you really want. You know, some of those shots that you want, the hero shots, get a little difficult in a place like that, but not here.
No, not here. You can pretty much do anything you want. Like we were on the sound stages at some of the major studios just a week ago doing some tours, and we were on one that was the exact same size and scale to what we're building here in Park City. It was filled with sets for a particular show that's you know, actively on the network right now.
Wow! And as we saw in this clip that we just watched, a lot of green screen opportunity, which is really, we know film is going there so fast in so many different ways. Keen and awesome, you know, backgrounds and things. So talk to me about the capability there, because it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's definitely some technology that's going on there. Right now, that technology is housed at UVU Wasatch campus, called the Virtual Stage. And as you said, the green screen. It was actually yesterday. There was last couple days there was a music video, series of music videos being shot there to showcase the technology and what it's capable of. Real time, you know, virtual effects, placing the band on a rooftop in Barcelona, Spain.
And look at that transition to that virtual world there.
So that technology will exist at the studio when it's built. Right now, we can actively use it up at their UVU in cooperation with the administration there, and
that's neat.
Yeah, and we have great opportunities to showcase what Park City Studios would be capable of, and also bringing in those types of productions from the major studios that can stay long term. Like you mentioned in your lead-in, you know, they come here for location too, but the studio will give them a reason to stay longer. Yeah. And enjoy Utah longer.
I like to say that we set the bar for so many things in Utah. We have sort of actively gone out of our way to make sure, well, if we're going to have an Olympics, it's going to be the best Olympics. If we're going to have film studio, we're going to have the best film studio. Everything we do, we only know how to do it on a large scale. And like you said, you involve other ancillary parts of that, and it gets, you know, it gets to the point where literally you can come to Utah and there are no limits to what can be done. You can find any kind of weather condition, any kind of outdoor place you'd ever dream of, any escape that you want, and then you have all the indoor stuff to work with that oh my goodness, what kind of film can you make at that point?
And before this, we were only offering the locations, which are fantastic, but
Sure.
it doesn't allow the producers to stay longer. This will allow them to have a production office space, to have places to build sets,
Yeah.
and to do visual effects and post-production.
What I love about this, now again, setting the bar, Miller Motorsports Park is a great example, right? We have one of the best racetracks in the world, arguably. And what's cool about that place is that they've got the garages, you pull in your gear, you're there for a month, they've got all the things to support it. This is exactly the same thing in film. You guys will have offices that you can move into, you can throw up some walls if you want, you've got all the cable trays to drop line everywhere you need to, if you need to do that.
Yeah.
It literally becomes your office for however long you need to make your film.
And way different than anything else you typically see. Typically you'll find the studios in a industrial area,
Right.
or in an area where there are other buildings around and lots of traffic congestion. And what we have here is a studio that's set apart from all that, a place where you can be creative and
spectacular views,
yes.
window offices,
resort town.
Yeah, good food.
So part of it is definitely the lifestyle that being in Park City will allow the filmmakers.
I think, you see those little, when you go to somebody's home and they've got that little nook where they like to write and it's got the windows and things, that's what that reminded me of. You had that one view of Park City that you're like, oh my gosh, I can get some writing done right here. I can get some filmmaking done here. That's what I felt like it was.
It certainly makes you think about it. I mean, my first thought was, we should have a couch here. So,
Yeah.
so you were mentioning the tours, and, which we were running up until yesterday.
Yeah.
The tours are over right now, the formal tours
But
are
we'll
over.
invite people back. That's the big
There'll
thing.
be grand
Yeah.
opening. There'll be grand opening tours that we'll offer to the public as we get closer to the June opening.
Yeah, and we obviously encouraging people from Hollywood or wherever, New York, wherever your office happens to be, you want to come back out and look at it. We'll show you around.
Well, we made a trip to Los Angeles and brought some studio executives back up for the last few days here at Sundance, and
Right.
they got a good taste of what the local infrastructure is like, and got a chance to tour the studio and see the technology.
We should also mention too, you guys are talking about putting a hotel out there right on property,
Right.
which makes this all the more convenient. I mean, you'll be able to get your breakfast, go make a film, go back, have lunch, if you want, or go to one of the other restaurants around town. But more importantly, I like to think at the end of the day, I'm gonna hop in the pool and relax for a little while, right?
That is a key component.
It's unreal, right there on the campus.
Can't underestimate the convenience of having a hotel right there, because when actors have a call time, it's door to door. So if your call time's across the street, it's great.
No
for
more
the producer.
trailers?
Right? No traffic. No
I
trailer.
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we're all done with being in the trailer.
And speaking of
It's
trailers,
nice.
I mean, what's great about the studio is they've thought of everything in the construction and design, and the trailers. There's spots for each individual trailer with individual power needs and hookups that most places that we go to now don't have.
One thing that I thought was impressive, you guys showed me the big elephant doors between the buildings,
Right.
but also the one which allows for load-in of sets, which gets you out of the weather. Because we do have weather here, but don't be worried, don't be concerned, because you've got a place to bring your sets in, all of your equipment in, outside of those conditions, right into the studio.
Yeah, right. Stage 2 and 3 attached to the mill shop space with the covered breezeway, so you can do that. And of course, stage 2 and 3 join each other, so you can actually have a 70,000 square foot stage.
Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The one thing you should know, though, is I've already chalk lined out my office out there, so you can't have
It was the
that.
same office as mine.
Right there. You can't have
We all
that
want that
one.
office. Yeah.
But everything else is open.
Yeah.
No, it looks, man, Marshall, I am so excited to talk about this place, because I think it's spectacular. It's going to afford some people some real opportunity to take their creativity to the next level. Both, like you said, on a stage with all of the functionality of the set building. There's places to build your sets and all those things that are going to come along with it as things start to open. Tell me about when that will be. I guess that's the big question.
Yeah, so
everybody
it's been a long process. It's
Right.
certainly, I know the residents of Park City know, and many others who've been tracking it. And finally, when you start to see the walls and the roof and the floor go down, you realize that it's really going to happen.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking at now is a June opening.
All right.
We've been saying May, but you got to factor in some weather concerns and some slowdowns.
That's
that.
right.
But I think realistically, you'll see the doors of the studio open in June, and hopefully accommodating our first production by then.
I can't wait, Marshall.
And
It's
there'll be a
exciting.
grand opening, and everybody will get a chance to see it before it opens and tour it.
Bring out the spotlights. It's Hollywood right here in Utah
Oh, yeah.
at the Park City
That's what
Film
we wanna do.
Studios.
Yeah.
Marshall Moore, thank you so very much for bringing it to us.
Thanks,
If
Joe.
you want to check it out, there's lots of opportunity. You can go to their website, which is
Yeah, ParkCityFilmStudios.org, I think,
Yeah,
or .com.
.com, yeah.
Yeah.
So check that out, and certainly I'm sure they'll be happy to show you
around. And on Facebook as well.
All right.
Yep.
We'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show after this quick break.